One of the things with blueberries that you really want to be aware of is that birds love blueberries. And what they'll do is they will actually attack these blueberries as soon as they get ripe, and they'll get them before you get a chance to get out here to catch it, to get them. What I did was I used some PVC pipe and created a cage and then covered it with some UV treated cage wire, and it's all plastic, but so that it forms around it. And I'm going to walk around and show you some of the things I did so that it makes it easy for you to produce. Hold on. One of the things that's important to remember when you're building a cage for your blueberries is make it big enough for what the plant will eventually get to. Not with the small one that you get from the nursery and you decide that you want to do it, and then it ends up being too small and you end up having to rebuild another one. This cage has been here for almost 6 years, and when I put it up, I originally just had wire over top of the plants. Then I went to this. These are just a little over almost 6.5 feet high. They are 4.5 feet wide. What I did was to strengthen it was I went and put T-bar posts into the ground and then lashed the PVC to it. That way it gave it strength against weather, wind, that type of thing. The whole process, and I put a top bar around it so that all the netting will go ahead and stay on the outside. You can very simply use wire ties to keep everything to it. As you can see, I used the wire ties there, and then I just used a regular screw to put in to attach that top bar across. It is really looking good. The thing that now with our new fence that we have, as you can see right here, that surrounds the entire garden, and it's 8 feet high. I can show you. There you go. There's one of the posts. And because it's black, it's coated, that what I'm going to do is I'll step back to show you. The cage is white. Well, it sort of stands out like a sore thumb. So what I'm going to do is this fall, we're going to tear this down and redo the cage in black. We're going to paint the PVC, cover it in black, and actually going to enlarge it a little bit so that over on this side, I'll be able to still walk, but I want to be able to enlarge it just a little bit so I can get around the plants themselves. But as you can see, these plants are really doing well. Here's two of our newer ones that we just got this year, and they've started to bloom. And they're a small plant, but they have a lot of promise. They have great color. That again, we use some of the cow manure on it so that it wouldn't let it slow down, and it's picked up and going well. Hi folks, I wanted to step into the blueberry patch and give you an idea of we're here is almost the 1st of May. Actually, tomorrow will be the 1st of May. And I wanted to be able to get you to see how some of these blueberries have really taken off. We've kept them watered. They're not stressed at all. They've had their fertilizer. And there's so many of the blooms that are in here. And all these blooms are really taking hold. You can actually see here where some of the blooms are actually starting to produce the small berries. These berries will all be really in good shape here pretty soon. And this is our middle one, our Jersey blues. They're really doing well. I'm probably going to have to prune them as soon as they are finished producing, because we do have an awful lot of growth that's getting into the top of the cage. One of the things that's important to remember is you'll see how this stem has a greenish brown color to it, and this one is starting to get a little bit older. Now, if you look way down, you'll see how this one is gray. These are going to be old, and we want to be, this will be probably the last year that you get anything out of them. You'll see over here where here's one that doesn't have anything on it. I clipped it off here, but it should have been clipped off back here. So, you know, and when you prune the blueberries, you try to get rid of all the gray looking stems, because that's the older stems for that. I'm going to walk through here a second so you can see our other variety and see how many blooms are on it. That's one of our oldest varieties, and it really is doing well. It's not going to last a couple, but maybe another year or so, because it does have a lot of gray older stems and stock in there. The one thing that I do, and so that you see that it's really important, I use drip irrigation, and I put 2 of the spreaders on either side, put one on either side of the plants so that they get water all the time. You can see that one under there. The chips that we have in here are starting to deteriorate, and probably this fall I'll go ahead and put new chips down for that. So it was another update for our blueberries, and I'll come back and we'll show you what they look like as they start to produce.